It's time we give back. Sow a seed and show someone where love's at. Even if you don't give a dime, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else in life. Give back. Let's give back.
The Men of Color Civic Engagement Panel, blossom where you're planted.
Okay, our first panel is going to be civic engagement. Blossom where you're planted. Blossom where you're planted. We have 4 panelists that are here today. First, I'm going to introduce our very own Coach Larry Golden. Come on up. Coach Larry Golden is one of our coaches with the Alpha Eagles Boys Club here at PS 463. He's been with us since the inception. He is a homeowner in this community and a hard-working man. And next we have Mr. Johan Powell. Johan Powell. Johan is an attorney. Johan S. Powell received his Juris Doctorate degree from George Washington University. He also has his Bachelor of Business Administration, specializing in accounting from Hofstra University, located in Hempstead, New York. Mr. Powell is a managing partner of the law office of Johan S. Powell, LLC. He provides legal counsel, services, and advice to various individuals and corporate clients, including small businesses, corporate executives, various entertainers, and executives in the entertainment industry. He represents clients in negotiations of various contracts. This is all legal jargon, so he's a bad boy. He's a bad lawyer, so we're not going to get on into that. But he is also an adjunct professor at Hofstra University. He's a professor, and he's been there for 11 years, where he teaches law entertainment, business law, and contract law in the undergraduate and graduate programs. He is also appointed to the Board of Trustees for the Cayuga Center of New York City, and I also know he's a proud member of the League Fraternity. Let's give it up for Mr. Johan Powell. Next we have Mr. Torres. Come on up, the Bronx principal. I don't have a bio, but I did interview him, so I know a lot about him. I know he was in the Marines, correct? He was in the Navy. I know he was in the Armed Forces. He was in the Navy. He's from the Bronx, Eldon Watson. He's currently the principal at PS 55. That's where I first started teaching. He has done a lot of work in the community through his school. He is a graduate of Host Oaks Community College. He also went to Mercy College, and he also went to a special program out at the Leadership Academy out of Columbia University. Let's give it up for Mr. Torres. And last but not least, to complete this panel, we have Dr. Jerome Taylor. Come on up, Dr. Taylor. Dr. Jerome Taylor was born and raised in Ohio. He graduated from Morehouse College with a Bachelor of Science degree, and also from Case Western University School of Medicine with a medical degree. Dr. Taylor then went on to serve in the U.S. Navy. See, they sit next to each other. As a medical officer, where he received the rank of lieutenant commander. He next went on to complete his surgical residency at Beth Israel Medical Center in New York. Presently, he is an assistant professor of surgery at Mount Sinai. Okay, I'm just thinking because I know Mount Sinai, Beth Israel. His outside interests include civic engagement, where he is a baseball coach with the Harlem RBI League, and medical missions. And also, he's interested in doing medical missions. Dr. Taylor resides in the Bronx and is married to Alicia, and they have 2 children. Welcome to the stage, brothers. So this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to ask our panel questions, and we're going to have a conversation. So you're going to pass the mic back and forth to whoever is speaking. All right, so I'm going to open this up John. I'm going to ask you this question, and then all of you can chime in, but you're going to start out with this. Why is community service important? Want to?
I do entertainment, and I don't know how to turn the mic on. Community service is important for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, it's our community. We take care of our community. What comes out of our community is what we put in our community. So I've always thought that someone said something to me to wake me up as a young kid from Harlem. My parents are divorced. I grew up in the projects. I have all of the quote-unquote statistics or features that show that I should have a lot of difficulty in life and that I shouldn't be able to do a variety of different things. But people in my community helped me change all of that. You know, being responsible to my community, knowing that I had to do something productive and positive in my community. In my community, knowing that everybody at that time had permission to beat my butt if I did anything wrong, whether they were my mom, not, or a friend, or just a stranger from the community. But it gave me a sense of community. I love my community, so I wanted to do something for my community. And then nowadays, I look at this and I realize that young people in particular, but everyone in our community, we need our service. We need the help of people in the community. I went to college, got an accounting degree, got a law degree, and I need to bring some of that back to my community. Not only my professional skills, but the things that made me move to those levels to do those things, the things that motivated me, the stories that I have, what I call my little secret ingredients that push me to be positive, to keep me from just doing the wrong thing, growing up in the projects in the streets of Harlem. I grew up on 125th and Broadway. I easily could have done a variety of things wrong. Many of my friends and colleagues and contemporaries had problems in life. And everybody that's in that neighborhood is not necessarily a bad kid, but it doesn't mean that you can't get into trouble. And every kid that gets into trouble is not necessarily a bad kid. Some people are just in the wrong position. I always tell people that I was smart and I was blessed. And not to get smart confused. It wasn't that I was the smartest kid in the world. I was the type of student, to be quite honest, I had to read that particular chapter twice to get it. First time didn't come to me. So I had to learn to do that. But I was smart and blessed. I was smart, and then I listened to the people that actually cared about me and told me the right things to do. And I was blessed that I didn't get into trouble when I just simply couldn't have. So that day I didn't go to the party. It was a shootout at the party, and I wasn't there. That day they decided to do something and steal from the store, I wasn't there. I wasn't there for a variety of reasons because of the people around me. I had a mother that would clearly whip my behind. She made it very clear that she was a champion and she challenged me to leave how I felt like it. And it kept me in line. But being smart enough to listen to the people that cared about me made the difference. All my mentors and my coaches and hanging with positive people. You soar with the eagles or you slither with the snakes, and I chose to soar with the eagles.
Sounds good, brother. I want to ask that same question to you. Thank you. Let's give it up.
Yeah, so for me, it goes back to when I went to Stevenson High School in the Bronx. My guidance counselor told me I would never finish college, so I should go into the military. That's how I wound up in the Navy. So I left the war zone, which was the neighborhood that I grew up in, to go to another war because Desert Storm happened right when I left boot camp. And I realized early that I need to make sure I come back to my community and ensure that no other children that look like me have to do something because someone else tells you what is right and wrong to do. I wanted to make sure that I came back and instilled in my community this idea that we can all be successful in life and we don't need people to determine our future. So that kind of shifted my mindset. But I also think about when I was going to graduations as a child, whoever was the keynote speaker would always say, you need to make a better life for yourself so you can leave your neighborhood or you can get away from everything. The reality is what we need to do is we need to come back to our communities and make our communities better so we don't have to leave. We have to fix our communities, and the only way that happens is that as we get into these positions of power, we don't abandon our communities. We come back and we give back. And we use the resources and things that we develop over time to build up our communities so we don't have to ever leave. So,
Very good. Okay, this next question. Going to 1, 2. Do you see a difference between the level of social consciousness today versus when you were growing up?
Yeah, I think that the kids now are more aware of Black Lives Matter, being socially active. I don't think they're fully engaged as of yet in terms of what they're going to go up against, but I think they're more conscious of what they may have to face. And so when I try to talk to younger kids, I try to paint a picture of positivity for them. And I have a mantra where I try to tell kids that if you need a hero, make your hero somebody you can touch. So many of our kids, I think, idolize people on TV or people on the internet. Your hero needs to be somebody you can engage in. But I think this generation is going to do great things, but I think it's going to take us pushing them to do great things.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Coach G.
I look at it from the standpoint that, first of all, before it becomes a community, it has to start within your household. It really does have to start within your household. And if it doesn't take one of your parents to do it, this is where you stand up as children that knows right from wrong to start in your household. Because when you walk through that door or out that door from your household, you carry everything in this book bag, and it's just not the knowledge of books. You have to have the knowledge of the streets. You have to have the knowledge to know how and where to get away from things and get to things, because that's what I teach my children. And you also have to have the knowledge to be aware that you take your parents outside that door every day, and you bring them back with you every day. Because at the end of the day, who do you look and sit and see when you're at home? Your parents. Now, such as the gentleman that sits here, and such as myself, we are part of the community. One thing I would say, and it's not a knock against nobody, I didn't leave my community to come back. I stayed in it and built something here to show you don't have to leave and come back. Stand firm, stand fast, and stand for what you believe in. Because that's not a dream. That's total reality. And no one can take that from you at all. At all. I found myself among gentlemen that I looked up to when I went to school, and I got skipped twice in school. My mother held me back because she thought I wouldn't prevail further enough with older people, and I loved her for it. You want to know why? I already thought I was too smart for my own good. So that put me in a place that, being smart, I didn't learn how to lead at a time. I saw everything around me. I had my mother and father in my life, and they both were. I got allowance. A lot of black children don't know what allowance is and what allowance is to earn it. Not just looking at the pair of sneakers on the online that cost you $300. Who told you you deserve $300 sneakers when you can't get your acts together? You see when you act up inside here? These are my kids here. I watch the big ones grow up from the little ones, and I'm trying to develop the little ones. But at the end of the day, they have to help me help them too. I come from work. I have not been asleep yet. I come here for 6 years, since this has been the beginning. And I got approached by Mr. Pavane in the schoolyard, picking up my son. From the discipline he's seen me with my son and adamant about my child's curriculum. He approached me and asked me to be a part of something. And today, I wouldn't cash it in for no money. You want to know why? The beauty within y'all guys, seeing you in the morning, what's up, Coach G? Or I see y'all with your family members, and you're telling them, oh, that's Coach G from the Alpha Eagles. That enlightens me.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Let me start. I want everybody to answer this one. What will your service legacy be? what will your legacy
First off, I mean, it starts with my kids. I think I don't want them to be anything in particular, but I want them to be good people, good citizens, a love of God, a love of the family, a love of their community. And then from there, you know, I wasn't born in New York. I wasn't born in Ohio, but I grew up in public housing and projects. And so I grew up in an environment where when I said I wanted to be a doctor, people told me I couldn't. And so I want to do just the opposite. I want to tell kids that you can do anything that you want to do, no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what obstacles you may face. It may be a little harder at some point, but it can be done. And don't be deterred. I tell everybody, dream big. And don't let anybody get in the way of your dreams. So I mean, that's a tough question, but that's the basis of it.
For me, I want people to know that I left this planet on empty. I don't want to leave anything behind on this planet. Some people ask me, do I work 7 days a week? I'm in my school building probably 6 days a week. And then I'm doing speaking engagements like this and other, things that I'm doing because life is too short. We spend some time on this planet and then we leave, right? And if we don't use every minute, every second of the day wisely and put in time like this, like the coach is saying, he leaves work, he comes here, he's coaching children. Every single minute of his day, he's trying to be as productive as possible. If we come to this planet and we waste time and we leave here and we didn't make the world better, then we wasted our time on this planet. We need to spend every second of our days, every minute of our days, working hard to make this world better. So when people talk about me in the future, my hope is that they'll say, he gave 120%. When he left this planet, he accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish, and he made the world better. And that should be everybody's goal, because if we all work hard to make the world better, then we can start ending poverty and ending these things that continue to exist.
What I hope I leave, and what I'm attempting to do, is the thought, understanding of someone who was committed to the community, was committed to people that look like him, black and brown people, someone who mentored many individuals, young men. I'm actually mentoring a young lady for the first time, totally different scenario. And someone who was constantly a part of the community and trying to fix the ills of the community. And that's what I try to do every day, try to be a role model. My understanding is that, a positive role model, let me say that. My understanding is that you don't have a choice as to whether or not you're a role model, but you have a choice as to whether or not you're a positive role model or a negative role model. So I do what I can to be that for the members of my family and my community as well. And one of the things I like to say before I pass the mic on is I want young people to understand that I am not a unicorn because I'm a lawyer. He's not a unicorn as a doctor, not a unicorn as a principal. This is what you can be. This is within you. It's not something that's unattainable. It's not something that's unusual. And I understand exactly what Coach meant, but I'm definitely average. All right, so because I don't want you to have this feeling of, wow, that's not something I can do. This is exactly something you can do. And it's just about the time you put into that to make that happen. And that's one of the things, one of the legacies I want to leave in my community, the feeling that we literally can do anything that we choose to do, as long as we put forth an honest, conscientious effort to do it and work at it.
Legacy. I still was sitting here listening to the young men talk and try to figure it out. Only legacy I want to leave is a mark in my community. Period. I already have a legacy when it comes to my children because I already made a foundation that's so stern. I'm a married man. How many black men are married to their wives in my age category? Not many. Because they're hitting and quitting. and they're quitting on these kids. And we can't keep quitting on them. So my legacy is not for my children, because they look at me as an honorable father and an honorable man, because that's what I teach them, and to strengthen them up to be in this world. I have two that graduated college. Listen to me. I didn't go to college, but I'll be darned. Whatever I made wasn't going to go through those polls, because politics, society leaves nothing to minorities. Minorities have to build in what we call steal. Steal don't mean stealing from someone. You understand what I'm saying? Steal means not standing still, being active, being forthful for the people. But the people ain't my age. The people are those ages that sit in the crowd here. Like they said, you can make a wrong turn as a mentor. You can make a wrong turn as a person, but you still have the promise to change. So before you get to that door to make a change, start changing now. Homework is a big thing. A lot of y'all think y'all be ballers. You're not. Your attitudes are disgusting. But I'm your coach. I got the right to say that because I'm working on it. I'm working to make that different. When you walk through a door, good morning, sir. Good morning, young lady. You know how that teacher treats somebody's day? That's better than getting flowers or having a steak dinner. When I talk to younger ladies, and these are older women, I make their day. I'm with my wife. How you doing, young lady? The lady smile, oh, thank you. I'm young. My wife will look at me, hey, babe, somebody got to make them feel good. That's what I do with your kids. I don't do it by myself, and that's another thing. I got 3 other coaches, 4 other coaches. All of us can't be here all the time, but I darn sure try to make it 90% of my time. You know, 90%. And I tell these kids the same thing every day, every weekend. Every weekend. We have responsibilities. We have paperwork. We have etc. things. This is not just to send your kids where they're going to play, because it don't go down like that here. You send them here to help them help themselves, and maybe can help you at home too. Because I learned a lot from my own kids. So that tells you you're never too old to learn anything. Anything. And that's just my legacy, my community. That's it.
Okay, we're gonna open it up if we have any questions from the audience. We would ask to go to this mic right here if we have any questions from the audience for any of our panelists.
My question is for the brother that's a lawyer. What's your name again, brother?
Johan.
Johan. Like you said something that was profound, like you are average. You know what I mean? Like being a lawyer and having that expectation to be able to do something like that's just an average thing for a king. For, you know what I mean? It's just in our lineage to be great. It's in our bloodline to be great. So I salute you, but my question to you is, how did you balance, because you're cool, I see you mad cool too, so how did you balance being cool and maintaining the style with being a scholar? Because you have to be a scholar to become a lawyer, so how was that process? Like, how did you balance those two things?
That's an excellent question, because it's a struggle that we have in our community. I often said to people it's a defense mechanism when our students act like they're not smart, right? Because if you're smart, you can be attacked in school for being smart.
That happened to me.
Because you're quote unquote acting white, which I'm still at 56 trying to figure out what acting white is when you act smart. But one of the things that I kind of understood about myself and was instilled in me by my mother was that you do come from a good place. You do come from good stock. And that you don't have to be low yourself or lower yourself or be low standard to fit in. And one of the things I worked on in terms of being a leader, trying to be the trailblazer versus following someone else's trail. It's tough. But what happens is if you're strong enough in your position about who you are, then people fall in line too, because we're all going through that same struggle. So then I found that I started to hang with what I quote unquote the right people. And what I mean is, you all know that there are people that are going to choose to do the wild thing and get in trouble, there are people that not. And I just wouldn't go that far. And part of the reason, like I said, because I had to come back and deal with my mother. So there was a discipline a point for me at some level if I made this decision. And she made it very clear my mother was a hardworking woman. She didn't have time. I was what they call a latchkey child because she was working. I had to let myself in and out. I had to become responsible. And she made it very clear, I am not coming to get you from jail. So don't go to jail. So it's a struggle that I always work through. And like I tell my nephews to this day, you decide what's cool. And if you take your decision of what's cool and you become independent of thought, that helps. But it's a struggle. You got to work through it, and you need people to support you in that.
Very quick. I just want to say something before you. So I live still in Classic Point. I never left the Bronx. So even though I left for the military, I still live in the Bronx. I've always lived in the Bronx. I grew up by Eldon Watson. You know, Eldon Watson in the 70s and 80s. People who know Eldon Watson know that I used to go to school. I had to walk from Elder to Soundview, and I used to walk through crack-infested corners. Every corner had a different color. It was red top here, white top here, yellow top here. I forget you. Used to have to walk up those blocks, but my mother always kept me focused. You know, she kept me moving forward. She would tell me, oh yeah, you see these people, you'll still see them 10, 20 years from now. And it's funny because there's still some of the guys I grew up with on the block, still on the block. But you gotta also know, just like you were saying earlier about the young men, you gotta know where you're at. And you have to be able to shut things off and shut things on, depending on where you're at. I've walked in places where many people who look like me will never be able to walk into because they don't know how to carry themselves in those environments. So we have to understand that in the world that we're in, we need to be able to walk proud of who we are and know when we need to turn things on. On the weekends, you know, I get stopped by police officers around where, you know, I go to Elder, I wear my military jacket. For some reason, they think it's a hood thing to wear a military jacket. I wear sneakers, I wear a scully cap, I do all of that on the weekends. So people see me, they think just because I drive a nice car that I'm doing something. My mother still lives on Eldon and Watson, so I go over there all the time. So, but when they stop me, they realize quickly that I'm educated because I don't, I don't bring the street out when I'm talking to certain people because I know that they don't understand. And the last piece is that we have to be proud of who we are. I'm bringing hip hop to my school. So I got Melly Mel and Grandmaster Kaz. I'm putting a music studio in my building because I want the children to learn the hip hop culture because that's valuable. People pay to learn about hip hop, right? Definitely. So we have it within our community. We just got to be proud of who we are, celebrate it. Don't change who you are, but know that there are times where you have to turn it off.
Thank you very much, Coach Steve, Johan, Lewis, Jerome. Thank you, audience.
I see all your smiles and all the tears showing down on your faces, but I know